humiliated to be elevated. God's humiliation ritual. I know a lot of people don't understand that. Let's talk about it. See, there's a humiliation that destroys you and a humiliation that saves you. The enemy humiliates your soul to break you, but God humiliates your ego to make you. And when you finally hit rock bottom, you realize the truth that you couldn't see before, that God is the rock at the bottom. To put a lot of this into context, let's go back to Rocky 3, when Rocky had to fight Clubber Lang, also known as Mr. T. You see, a lot of people think that Mr. T, Clubber Lang, was the villain of the story, but no, he wasn't. At that point, Rocky had become the villain. What you have to understand is even he came to that overstanding later on in the movie. You see, Rocky had sold out for fame and fortune. He had become an empty shell of himself, and Clubber Lang had that heart, that spirit, that grit, that authenticity that he used to have when he followed Apollo Creed. This is not saying that you yourself need to overcompensate. This is just saying you need to learn to stop underasserting. And I feel like a lot of times as Christians, that's what we do. We think being a Christian is meaning that we are to start being, uberly nice, that we can't have boundaries, that we can't have a voice, that we can't still demand and command respect. But yeah, when Rocky had to face facts, right? He had to face who he had allowed complacency and comfort and trying to appeal to everybody's boxes, which are all based on very frail, fragile egos. He had lost a piece of himself, and that trial known as Clubber Lang came along to literally knock him down and knock him out and make him have to face his own fears and doubts and insecurities and the shell of himself that he had become. You see, that's why Apollo Creed realized he had to be the one to train Rocky. Apollo Creed realized that Rocky couldn't see that he had become who Apollo Creed used to be before Rocky came along and knocked him down and woke him up. And he had to help Rocky find that fire, that passion, that heart, that authenticity in his soul again to be able to become everything he was meant to be, because that was the only way he was going to be able to overcome that trial known as Clubber Lang, that humiliation all wrapped in one, heartbreak, the epitome of pain, the epitome of embarrassment and shame and loneliness and rejection, because that's where he sent Rocky back to. And until Rocky could overcome that trial, that's where he was going to stay. Before he could overcome that trial known as Clubber Lang, Mr. T, he had to become everything God had always meant for him to become, so to speak. Because if he couldn't, then he wouldn't, if you get what I mean. So understand, it's not that God doesn't care for you, that he is allowing you to go through this. Quite the contrary. He wants you to understand that you become too complacent. He has more in you than you can even begin to comprehend. And that trial is meant to put you on your behind until you allow him to be the one to help you get back up. And I know a lot of times we feel like it's not fair, right? We feel like we try our best to be our best selves. Well, Rocky wasn't being a bad person. There was just more required of him than what he was doing. He didn't understand the shell of himself that he had become. Come on, Holy Spirit, trying to appease others and their fragile egos. Man, not even good man, can truly comprehend what God has for you and the greatness that you are going to bring forth, that's going to inspire so many other generations. But you have to rely on him and him alone. And he realizes you have to overcome whatever trial you're facing, whatever trial beyond articulation, whatever opposition beyond comprehension. You're going to have to overcome that. And in order to do that, you have to become who he has purposed you to be. Now you're starting to see. Be encouraged. God bless. Let's go.